Well, here we are again, and it's delightful for me to be with you. And I look forward to it every week. Both Craig and I do. And so tonight I'm going to share with you, both in song and in a message I believe the Lord has given me. My name is Ruth Polston from The Life That Went, so you know, and I'm sure I'd be talking to a lot of friends out there. But anyway, instead of just hopping into the message like I do tonight, I'm just going to give you a little piece of a song that sort of sets the stage, okay? And I'll be talking it. In the dark of the midnight, I have oft hid my face, while the storms hauled above me, and there was no hiding place. Meet the crash of the thunder, precious Lord, hear my cry, keep me safe, till the storm passes by. Till the storm passes over, till the clouds roll forever from the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand in the hollow if it's hand. Keep me safe till the storm passes by. All right, that sort of sets the stage a little bit about what we're going to talk about. And in our message tonight, well, this was just, Jesus had just fed 5,000 people. And as they passed through his hands, they multiplied. And the disciples were just all excited about it. It was wonderful. Well, the day was over. And the people wanted to follow him. And naturally, when you see a big miracle like that, you'd like to keep up with Jesus. So Jesus said, I want the disciples, told them privately, get in a boat, go over to Bethesda, and he said, I'm going into a mountain to pray. And I thought, did Jesus need that after such a wonderful day of victory? Jesus was the Son of God, but he was also the Son of Man. And he got tired just like you and I do. And you know, the best time to pray is probably after you've had a big victory. Because, you know what? The enemy never likes for us to have victories. And so, Jesus knew exactly what he needed to do. He needed to go up into the mountain alone, the Bible said. And he sent them out. Now the thing of it is, he sent them out into a storm. Now you know, wouldn't you think that they'd had enough trauma that day? No, Jesus was always the teacher with the disciples. So he said to the disciples, he said, just go across the lake. So, okay, they did exactly what they were told. They got into the boat, and away they went. Well, about in the middle of the night, Jesus got up from his prayer place, went down on the shore, and was standing there watching the disciples. And the Bible said in one of the Gospels, he sent them into the storm. You see, Jesus is always trying to prove himself and make us dependent on him. Because if we're not dependent on him, we might take credit for something that we can do. And He wants us to always be dependent on Him. So here they are. So He watched them. And the Bible said that there was a great wind that came up. And it had aggravated the waves. And the waves were splashing and they were filling the boat. And the disciples were also excited. And so they started bailing. You know, get that water. And they were talking, here, Peter, here, John, here. And he would just, Matthew, he said, you do this, you do this, you this, you know. And I'm sure Peter was calling their shots. So they were trying to empty the boat, and Jesus was just standing there watching. He saw them toiling and rowing. Now, I'm sure you're not that different than I am. There are a lot of times that I'm toiling or rowing too. And the waves. And sometimes the waves that come along, they're kind of scary. They're not familiar. And I don't feel very comfortable in the boat I'm in. But, so Jesus, he said, well, it's time for me to go out there and join him. So he starts walking on the water. Now, I like to say Jesus walks on our problems. He does. You know, while we're toiling and rowing and trying to get the water out of the boat, Jesus is walking on top of the problem. And when he got to there, we're close to it, they looked up and they said, oh, it's a ghost. Now, I called this little message, when you don't know it's Jesus. They didn't know that was Jesus. They said, it's a spirit. And they were also scared, just out of their wits. They were more scared of that spirit that was, and the Bible said Jesus made that he was going by. He had a lot to talk to them about that day. So he goes by, and as he goes by, why, they cried out. And so he said, well, they don't know who I am. So then he goes over to the boat. He said, be of good cheer. In other words, don't be afraid. He said, don't fear. He said, it is I. Don't be afraid. So, what did he do? He stepped into the boat, and the wind stopped. Now, when Jesus is welcomed into your boat, into your trial, into your circumstances, into your pain, into your sickness, whatever it is, when Jesus is welcomed into it, then the wind ceased. So they said, oh my goodness, it is the Lord. It is the Lord. Now, you know, fear is a terrible tyrant. And we're never far from it. I'm sure not. And so, actually, what fear is, it's like faith, only it's in reverse. It's going the opposite direction. So they were in reverse. And well, Jesus, as long as he was in the boat, no problem, nothing to fear. But then they said a very interesting thing. He said their hearts were hard. Hard? How could have hard hearts when you were in that situation? Because they forgot the miracle the day before. It's so easy to forget what Jesus did when you cried to him, what he did here when you cried to him, when you had a need. And they were just, they were like boys that were in their primer. They were just learning to what this God-man was going to really do and be like. And like a lot of us, our hearts get hard because we forgot yesterday. Yeah, God is today. He's always today. He's now. He is the now God. And so none say, well, thank God for yesterday. No, thank God for today. I wrote down several scriptures that I thought would be really good with that. Let's see, where was one? see if I can find them. They forgot yesterday. Yeah, and here's one of them that I found. He's the same yesterday. Did he help me yesterday? Yeah. Today and forever. He's never going to change. He's never going to walk out on us. All right, number 2. Here's another word. He that did deliver, that's past, does deliver, will yet deliver. So a lot of times we say, well, I got through that one. Today, yeah, the day's almost over and I got through that one. You know what? God's already taken care of tomorrow because there's no past nor future with him. And so he said, he will yet. I love that. He will yet deliver. So I can count on him when I get out of my bed in the morning that day. He will deliver me. So that another one I had was, and it comes out of the Old Testament, it's like this. Did not he who delivered us in 6 troubles deliver us in 7? Is it any harder for him to deliver in 7 than it was 6? I'm sure most of you could count on your fingers and say, yeah, I've got a track record. I can remember 6 troubles. Well, what about the 7th? See? And the Bible says, is it anything for him to save in 7 as well as he did in 6? Let's see, there was another one here I thought that was good. Oh, yeah, and this is really different. Oh, I just love this scripture. It said, even when we don't believe, he abides faithful. You see, we're after all pretty weak. And the Bible said he can't deny himself. He said what he'd do over here, so he is going to do it. So a lot of times you think, well, I better stay awake all night to watch over that. No, you don't have to. Because even while you're not believing, he abides faithful. Well, I just hope you have really liked that. Here's another one. He watches over his word to perform it. God can't lie. Yeah, there's a few things God can't do, and one of the things is he can't lie. He has to stay true to his word. And if a word says that he'll deliver us, he will deliver us. Okay, now I think that I just want to come back to the lesson now. He sees you and me toiling and rowing in our circumstances. He's watching from the shore. And he's wondering if they'll recognize him when he comes. So he pretends like he's going by. And the first thing they said, oh, it's a spirit. It's a ghost. Then they were really afraid. And what did Jesus say? He spoke to their problem. You know, we don't realize the authority when we start walking with Jesus that we do have. We can speak to our problems too. Do you know that when Jesus was talking about the mountain, he said, don't pray to the mountain, speak to it. Yeah, he said, I've given you authority over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. That's another one to put, you can bet your life on it. So anyway, I just want to tell you and bring to mind, fear not, neither be afraid. It is I. And you could take that to the bank. All right, now I found this song. In fact, Joan Peak, one of the ladies here at the village, she just found this 5 minutes before I came, and I was looking for it and couldn't find it. But I'm going to go over it just a little bit again. And I started out with it, and I'm going to end with it. Let's see. In the dark of the midnight, I have oft my face while the storms howled above me, and there was no hiding place. Mid the crash of the thunder, precious Lord, hear my cry. Just keep me safe till the storm passes by. Till the storm passes over, till the thunder sounds no more, till the clouds roll forever from the sky. Hold me fast, let me stand in the hollow of his hand. Keep me safe till the storm. It is I. Be not afraid. Thank you for letting us have this time together tonight. And I just pray that this has been one of the most wonderful weeks. And whatever you're facing, don't forget, it is I. Be not afraid. God bless. Ruth Ann Polston, The Life That Wins.